There's been some drama all over the internet. I seen it all over my Twitter feed. Then I went over on YouTube and I seen OOPSIE and a bunch of other people posting about it, as well as I seen Soft White Underbelly making a complete rebuttal, and then I saw Tyler Oliveira as well make a rebuttal. So I thought I'd make a video bringing you all up to speed because there's quite a lot of longer videos covering it, like OOPSIE's. Go watch that video if you want a really in-depth look at how the family that I'm about to cover runs, how they operate, or how they don't operate. But the main part is that there was some drama and it was kind of a little deal until like these two kind of made it a bigger deal. I feel like personally, both sides could have made it a little like, you know, if they would have talked to each other instead of just like instantly going to like make big videos about it and get the public involved, then, you know, this could have been solved a little more gracefully. But now that it's a bigger issue, I think both of them are kind of trying to take a little bigger of a stance on it. If you're new to my channel, surprise, because so am I. My name's Trent. I'm going to go by Ketchup Chips. And I'm going to try to bring you weekly videos on all different types of drama that happens on the internet. But this topic's got some stereotypes. Now see, I'm from Canada. In Canada, we hear all sorts of things about the West and the USA. But those of us that have a head on our shoulders are going to assume that probably most of those are stereotypes. Kind of like the stereotypes everybody in the US has about Canada. You know, the ones where we always say, sorry. It's okay, but you're golden. Ooh, it's high past noon. I better get on my beaver and go to work. But all jokes aside, the Whittaker family is a family in West Virginia, in a town called Squalor. And, you know, man, if you think West Virginia, then you can probably picture what this town looks like. Soft White Underbelly is a great channel on YouTube that mostly does interviews for the less fortunate and kind of gives them a spotlight to vent honestly without judgment in a place that's safe where they don't have to feel like a bunch of eyes are on them and they can really just get what they want off their chest, really speak their truth. And they had been making videos about and with the Whittakers since 2020. And on the other hand, Tyler Oliveira has made a massive name for himself on YouTube. Now, I don't believe Tyler was trying to ruffle feathers, but I believe Tyler ruffled some feathers. Tyler's video he made recently in West Virginia that had a segment that featured the Whittakers inside of it. I don't think that video was made with a bunch of malicious intent. There's so much that goes towards putting together a video like that, and so Tyler can't be part of every single creative process that goes into putting together that video. And since this is the reason it's kind of going viral, because the editing style that the editors chose to use on Tyler's channel, like I said before, I like Tyler's content. I really don't think this was intentionally malicious, with its only intent being to call out Soft White Underbelly. I really like and I actually do honestly watch a lot of Tyler's other videos. So this is just a crazy situation, man. So, the Whittakers are a family of 4 people. Like I said, if you want a more in-depth look, go look at OOPSIE's channel. He kind of covers everything about the family, all their names and their bloodline, how they're related. I just want to clarify one more time. This does not speak for all West Virginians. From my understanding, West Virginia just kind of gets a bad rap. The government's twisted, their funding's twisted. I'm very far away from West Virginia and my news is censored because I'm in Canada, so I don't really quite know exactly, but let me tell you, they're not doing great out there. So the Whittaker family, they consist of around 4 people. Of those 4 people, I think 2 are siblings, and those siblings have grandparents that are brother and sister.
Henry and Sarah's 5th child was John Emroy Whittaker in 1913, and John and Ada's 6th child was Gracie Irene Whittaker in 1920. Both were paternal first cousins, sharing the same grandparents, Thomas and Elizabeth, but also second cousins sharing the same great-grandparents, James and Lucy. I'll
leave a link to Mortal Face's video in the description if you're kind of interested in their family lineage and how it all connects, but the tree's got a lot of crossing branches. So due to there being a lot of sandwich DNA in their family, there was kind of a lot of disabilities and whatnot that kind of were passed down hereditarily in the family.
Tonight for dinner.
For those of you who may not know, inbreeding kind of just like magnifies all of the bad traits that get passed down your bloodline, and also greatly heightens the possibility that you get those traits in the next offspring. It's basically how this thing was created. But for real, guys, no judgment here. I'm just saying it how I see it. You're probably wondering, why is any of this drama right now? A lot of you probably remember in 2020, if you follow Soft White Underbelly, that he released this video on the Whittakers. That Tyler Oliveira just released the I Investigated the Poorest Region of America video. In this video, around the last 5 minutes, he covers the Whittaker family.
Okay. Hi. Good to meet you. Hi. You staying warm? Yeah. Yeah? That's good.
Oh, wow. Hi.
Dolly.
Hi. Hi, he's so cute. Cute.
Now, on the surface level, the intentions of this video were great. He wanted to go there, meet the family, help them out, give them a couple groceries, and be on his way. And I mean, if the video went like that, there wouldn't be any drama to be covering right now. I mean, the video was really wholesome. Everybody was smiling and thankful and interacting. You're gonna see that the guy tries really hard. He makes really good videos, but the man switches his content a lot. He's really trying to find a good niche. But he, as well as his viewers, probably realize he kind of struck gold with his recent video series that he's been coming out with. Man, it's hard enough for me to even come out with one video for my new YouTube channel, much less imagine how hard it is for Tyler to completely change his entire video aspect and style. So in Tyler's video, he went around Virginia and he interviewed multiple different people. He got a feeling for what the drug scene as well as the degenerates kind of get up to around those parts. He acknowledged that gambling is pretty much the only pastime to do around there for most people. You see, one of the cool things about Tyler is that he actually goes out and sees things for himself. So just like you and me, Tyler saw this video in 2020 by Soft White Underbelly and he went and checked it out. Just like you or me, he assumed it would be good content. I mentioned Soft White Underbelly just a bit ago. The channel is run by a man named Mark. The guy's made an impact in the community. He's interviewed literally hundreds of people. And Mark's video on the Whittakers is a prime example. That entire video series is his top videos on his entire channel, having the most views and by a wide margin as well. Tyler even covered this in his own videos.
A couple of years ago, I saw this video on YouTube titled Inbred Family, The Whittakers, where this guy, Mark Laida, records his interaction with a family suffering a long history of inbreeding.
Since Mark released his video on the Whittakers, he's raised awareness for the family. He started GoFundMes and started funding the family for their groceries and their general needs.
What's back there? The one that keeps this whole clan together. This is your firewood? This is how you heat the house? Together. Yeah. Pay the bills, do whatever you need to do. You like going to Walmart? No.
I mean, the man shows general care and love in his videos. You can really feel it by the way he interacts with them, the way the tone of voice he uses. The guy just wants to see the Whittakers happy and healthy, and it's obvious in his videos. So, all things considered, Tyler thought to himself, I'm gonna go out and check out this family. One huge influencer helps a family out, another huge influencer could go out and help the same family out. He could have went out and helped a completely different family, but I mean, the Whittakers kind of had an aspect of fame to them that probably made it a little bit more attractive for Tyler to go make a video about them specifically. So initially, Tyler did the right thing and he sent Mark an email. Hey Mark, my name is Redacted and I represent Tyler Oliveira on YouTube, a channel with 4 million plus subscribers. We saw all of your interviews on YouTube and really respect the style and uniqueness to bring to YouTube and how you portray all those you interview. We are currently interested in filming a video about the Whittaker family in West Virginia. I was wondering if you'd be able to help us get in touch, since you've done so much with them. We would love to help show the world the compassion they have and support the GoFundMe to help them get a new home. Please let me know as soon as possible. Thank you, Tyler. So due diligence was done. Tyler had communicated with Mark, but then Mark replied with this. Hey Tyler, Soft White Underbelly has an exclusive contract with the Whittaker family for all content creation. We are also currently in talks about a television series with a broadcast network. Thank you so much for thinking of us. Noel, Soft White Underbelly. So in hindsight, this probably gave Tyler a bad feeling. The reason I say this being because of how Tyler acted after the email chain. I mean, I kind of get it. From Tyler's perspective, at first glance, he's looking at Mark, who made 13 videos of the Whittakers, and just sent him a blatant no. But Mark was concise and clear on the email he sent to Tyler saying that he had exclusive contract rights with the Whittaker family. So I mean, if I was Tyler and this was my channel and I was pursuing this, I would probably just write the Whittakers out of my script. Especially hearing from Soft White Underbelly themselves that they have an exclusive deal with the Whittakers. This is kind of where the misunderstanding all came from. See, because Tyler's over here thinking that there's some sort of malicious thing going on. He's sitting here thinking, are the Whittakers getting taken advantage of? Do they even know they're in a contract? Are they getting this money that the GoFundMe is saying is going towards them? There's a lot of unanswered questions in Tyler's mind, probably. But the thing is, as the real world kind of teaches us time and time again, and assumptions without proof are assumptions. And baseless allegations can come back and bite you in the ass.
Mark has made 13 videos with the Whittakers with a combined total of 89.13 million views. In every one of these videos, Mark currently has a GoFundMe link with the mission to help the Whittaker family purchase a new home.
What else? How's the house coming along?
What house?
I
don't know what house. We have to Mark about the house.
What did Mark say about the house? Paige wants to get an update.
I don't know.
Okay. Do you think he's...
More time we ain't got no more money in there. I don't know.
Okay.
So basically, from what I know, Tyler didn't try to contact Mark or the Soft White Underbelly team again. Instead, he talked to this other lady who basically gave him an opportunity to be able to bring the Whittakers a long grocery list full of items to help the family out, thereby giving him a reason to drop by there and kind of blend the action in with a selfless act for his content. Tyler gets the groceries, drives his car over to the Whittaker family's house, and then he explains how he knows the girl that they keep in contact with. Now, this part of the video is super wholesome, especially since the internet knows who the Whittakers are, and they finally get to see an update and they get to see them receiving something again. It's really meant to make your heart all warm, fuzzy, make you feel good and shit, give you the jitters. If the trajectory of Tyler's video would have stayed on course from this point forward, I don't think that Soft White Underbelly would have took issue with anything Tyler had released on the internet. But this is where Tyler started to rustle some feathers. I'll talk more about this in a bit, but I really do think that this was the decision made by Tyler. I mean, would any of you release a video without watching it first? And if Tyler would have just proof watched the video once, he probably would have seen the issue that Soft White Underbelly took. Like I said, maybe it was a miscommunication with the editor. It's really not that excuse when the editor's on your payroll. So Tyler's video went on to do
What
this.
else? How's the house coming along?
What house?
The
I don't know what house. We had from Mark about the house.
What did Mark say about the house? Paige wants to get an update.
I don't know.
Okay. Do you think he's...
More time we ain't got no more money in there. I don't know.
Okay.
Well, he always told us.
From my understanding, there's like, I don't know, $50,000 or $60,000 in there. Has Mark given you guys an update?
No.
Okay.
So basically, Tyler asked the Whittakers about their money and their housing situation, things that ultimately Mark was taking care of. Now, I don't know about you, but for me, I can see how the Whittakers don't really have an understanding for the ins and outs of where the money is coming from or how the money is getting spent that Mark is providing from Soft White Underbelly. But in Tyler's video, it kind of uses the Whittakers' uneducated responses to start to correlate in the viewer's head the idea that maybe Mark and Soft White Underbelly aren't actually giving them all the money that they're getting from the GoFundMe. It's all insinuation, but it's pretty damn clear. Now, no one truly knows exactly what Tyler or the Whittaker family were thinking or insinuating during this video. But the general reaction from the public when they first watched Tyler's video, now to me, it's pretty obvious that Tyler and his team were trying to plant the seed of thought into the viewer's mind that maybe Mark and his GoFundMe funds were not as transparent and clear as Mark had led them on to be. Now, I think you can kind of see in Tyler's eyes during this video, because the eyes tell all, that he's kind of on edge. It's clear that Tyler has front and center in his mind that Mark clearly told him that he has the rights to the Whittaker family videos. But instead of digging deeper and having more communication with Soft White Underbelly, Tyler chose to go the more investigative route and started asking the families questions about the money and the house that was mentioned in Mark's videos. Now, at this point, I don't even think Tyler actually dug himself a hole he couldn't get out of. But that's up until now. That doesn't cover the next part. Tyler's video then went on to say
I
this.
started a GoFundMe linked in this video's description and donated $10,000 of my own money. If you feel moved by these innocent souls and want to help them live their elderly years in peace, feel free to donate below. And Mark, if you have any honor, let's combine whatever my viewers and I raise, your two GoFundMes, and let's get the Whittakers a new house for real.
So good old Marky Mark got in the interview chair, hit record, looked at the camera, and gave probably the best rebuttal that the internet has seen in a long time.
This is just a case where this young YouTuber who's doing some irresponsible journalism decided not to get any input from me and just decided to take a story and run with it because he knew it was going to get a lot of views, which it has. I take the hit on that. My reputation gets tarnished. He makes a lot of money. I mean, I guess it helps me because I make a lot of money too when people see these stories and they go to my channel to comment something terrible about how I'm evil and terrible. But that's just social media. It's frustrating, but that's the world we live in.
Mark stated that the GoFundMe, since its inception, had generated a ton of money. Money that goes towards feeding, housing, and caring for the Whittaker family. Yeah, and another overall goal that Mark had was to eventually, hopefully, buy a house for the Whittaker family with the funds that the GoFundMe eventually generated over time. Because let's just admit, that house the Whittaker family lives in is horrible. Mark even stated that he started an entire second different GoFundMe with the sole purpose of funding a brand new house for the Whittaker family. Well, new to them. Tyler tries to hold Mark accountable for every single penny that both of his GoFundMes were generating for the Whittaker family. So much so that Tyler even suggested in his video that Mark should donate all the funds from one of the videos he made with the Whittaker towards the fund, basically in order to do better. And Mark covered all of this in his video, saying that it wasn't just as easy as saving money. The Whittaker family constantly called and needed food, needed money for cars, needed money for random things. At some points, they said they needed $14,000 for one thing at a time.
Betty and Larry will call me every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, and say, hey, we need money for a car. Larry wrecked his car. We need a new car. We need food. We need this. We need that. It's always an emergency, and they need money. And it is their money that this money is, all these donations are for the Whittakers. And when they tell me they need money, what am I going to say? No, you can't have it. We're saving it for our house. So I give them the money. Sometimes it's $5,000. Sometimes it's $4,000. Sometimes it's $6,000, or one time it was $14,000. Sometimes it's $3,000 or $2,000. But it adds up.
And as anybody in Mark's position would do, he gave them the money. I mean, it was their GoFundMe in their name, meant for them, and they needed the money. They were making the requests. What was Mark going to do? Say, no, you can't have the money that your GoFundMe has gotten? Mark even showed the bank transfer history, proving that the money had been given to the Whittaker family upon request. With just what he shows equating to over $100,000, and that's after taxes, because Mark says that he takes care of the taxes because the Whittaker family doesn't really have the mental capacity to, figure the taxes out for themselves. Mark then made it clear that him and the Soft White Underbelly team took pretty big offense to the fact that the Whittaker family didn't acknowledge anything they did to help their situation out, given the fact that the Whittakers literally said in the video that they have no money and what house, which is basically them insinuating that they had no idea what the house was, that they were even in talks with Mark about a house. Now, being Canadian, I don't have a single clue how much it costs to live in West Virginia, but to house, feed, clothe, and provide transportation for a family of 4 for 3 years could easily go over $100,000. But in Tyler's video, it conveniently seems like all that money's unaccounted for. Mark then brings to light that he was only contacted once by Tyler in regards to getting the contact info for the Whittakers. But for safety reasons, Mark says he likes to keep all of his contacts private, so then opted to tell Tyler that he holds exclusive rights to the contract deal for the Whittakers, but then doubles back right after that and actually admits that that was a complete lie to begin with.
Asked me. He never called me. He did call me once to ask if you could give them my contact info, but I don't want to give out the contact info of everybody I interview. How many requests for the Whittaker contact info did we get back then?
So many.
You see, now the pieces of the puzzle are starting to come together. It seems to me that if Tyler was more forthcoming towards Mark about the videos behind the scenes, and if Tyler just asked Mark more questions about where the money was going, as well as if Mark was just more transparent and forthcoming with what he was doing with the money right off the bat, maybe there wouldn't be this misunderstanding to begin with. They could both go home in peace and chill out. Nope. They both doubled down based on pride and ego, in my opinion. Mark goes on to acknowledge that even though his viewers will be able to distinguish what happened in this situation, a lot of Tyler Oliveira's fans are actually going to take Tyler's side on this situation, especially since Tyler's fans tend to take things at face value. Mark also went on to explain that he was massively discouraged by the Whittaker family because even though they were given every chance in Tyler's video to show what they were given by Mark, they decided not to.
Stood in front of him, his cameras, and said, when he asked what happened with the money, she goes, I don't know. Come on. Betty knows exactly where that money went. She calls me every 2-3 weeks to ask me for more. And I always ask her, what are you doing with all this money? You're living in West Virginia. How can you spend so much money like this? And she goes, I need it. And it's her money, so I give it to her. But between her and Larry, there's a lot of money flowing out of that GoFundMe. And it's down to 0 now. So I'm gonna discontinue my GoFundMes for the Whittakers. I probably won't even do videos with them anymore. It's just it's left such a bad taste in my mouth after all this. There's other things that are interesting for me in the world. So it leaves a really bad taste in my mouth after what just happened.
It seems like Mark, as anybody in that situation would do, started to form a little bit of an expectation that the family would start to treat him with more respect based on the fact that he gave him money. But I think that kind of blinded him to the fact that he quite literally can't use money to bribe intelligence out of somebody. I mean, it's obvious to me that the Whittakers just didn't think during Tyler's interview. Being in contact with the Whittakers has led Mark to believe that they experienced a moment of clarity with them, as if giving them a bunch of money gives them the clarity. But in my opinion, nobody from the Whittaker family would be able to wrap their head around how much money has went in or out of their account. In my opinion, the Whittaker family just isn't all there, and they can't be expected to be held accountable for anything. It's just an unfair circumstance for both them and the people that hold them accountable. As a result of Mark taking this personally, he decided to completely halt all of the GoFundMe operations for the Whittaker family. He says he wants to wipe his hands clean of all the drama and instead direct his energy into something that's going to benefit his life positively instead. I mean, he even called the lady from the Whittaker family during this interview, and it sounded like she didn't know the wiser. But
there's a video on YouTube of you talking to this guy, telling him about how I didn't give anybody any money, and I don't know where it came from. But whatever, I just wanted to clarify everything. Thank you for explaining.
No
guys.
All right, darling. Thank you very much.
But really, how could you blame the Whittaker family? Given their unfortunate circumstances in life, they just can't know. They don't have the mental capacity to know. And then two influencers come along, say a bunch of words they don't understand, and all of a sudden they get a bunch of money. Would you say no in that situation? So I think the important thing to take away from this video, just kidding. Tyler made a response video to Mark's response video. Tyler tries to paint himself as the good guy in this situation, supporting his arguments by saying a bunch of people around the internet had the same curiosities he did. I'm just gonna come right out and say that nobody was investigating this because no one had these allegations in their head. But then literally in his own video, Tyler insinuated malicious intent by using the word honor, basically kicking the door open for all the seeds of mistrust to enter the viewers' minds. That seems rather intentional to me. In my opinion, if Tyler in his video just never insinuated that Mark had any malicious intent and wasn't taking any money from the GoFundMes and was basically just doing what he was actually doing and giving all the money to the Whittakers, all of this would have been avoided. Even with the videos being posted, even with going to the Whittaker's house and getting all of his content, he would have been in the green. And on top of all this, Tyler then donated another $10,000 to the GoFundMe he started, which kind of just stirs the fire in all of this drama. Looks to me like Tyler completely tried to gaslight his audience into completely forgetting all of the things he did. Like, you can't just go after someone's honor like that, insinuate that they didn't do a bunch of stuff they said they did. Tyler absolutely tried to put the blinders on his viewers by insinuating that he didn't do nothing at all. He didn't try to insinuate that there was no malicious intent. He didn't try to mention the fact that he mentioned honor whatsoever there. And then for him to call out Mark and tell him that Mark owes him all of these receipts is just ridiculous. Mark doesn't owe you shit, dude. It's absolutely ridiculous. And everybody agrees with this. Not just me, it's not just you. Mark just seems like a guy that's no bullshit. Seems like he wants to just make good videos, cause no waves, make a good impact on the community, and just go about his life being super low-key and a help to a lot of people. And man, I completely understand where Mark's coming from when he makes his videos and how he responded to all this. The dude just wants to make good videos and have a positive impact on people's lives, as well as making a good life for him and his family. Tyler's pretty well known for being an opportunistic journalist, and pretty much always goes to discredit his criticizers instead of disproving their points. Many YouTubers have done a deep dive on this. If you're willing to go look at it, all the power to you. That being said, whose side are you on? Are you on Mark's side? Are you on Tyler's side? Let me know in the comments if I've missed any of the important details. But if I did miss anything, I'm sure you savages in the comments will let me know. Anyways, that was that. Bye for now.